So the year is coming to an end, and 2023 has been a great year in fragrance, and I've decided to kind of share with you my top 10 finds of 2023. Some of those fragrances were not released in 2023 at all, but that's when I found them. I tried them myself, and that's when I fell in love, and they made it into my collection. This is going to be a range of dupes, niche, Middle Eastern, and yeah, it's like there's no specific price point for it, so it just covers all the price points, and I'll talk about each and every one of them. So if you are interested in my top 10 finds, stay tuned and we will start in a second. This is not a ranked list in any way, just some kind of going on, talking about the fragrance that's in front of me and picking at them as we go. And starting off with the first one, which is a Valentino Born in Roma Intense. This fragrance, I was against it as soon as it got released. It was another one of those fragrances that got really hyped, and I didn't like the idea of the hype behind it. I do have Valentino Roma Intense, the original, and which unfortunately I heard like it's been discontinued. Very sad news. I'm probably gonna have to buy a backup because it's one of my favorite Iris fragrances of all time. But yeah, I do have that one. I'm very much in love with it. But this one, I kind of wasn't keen on the idea of vanilla and lavender. I didn't know how it's gonna smell. Is it gonna be smell designerish and so on? And it does smell designerish. Like it's a very designer fragrance. When you smell it, it's not a high-end niche fragrance that you're gonna think to yourself, "Oh wow, that's so complex." It is absolutely not. It is a very fresh lavender with just a backing of vanilla. It's as simple as that. But it smells absolutely gorgeous. It smells amazing. I think this will be a staple. I want to say summer, but I feel like it might be too heavy for summer. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, this one, honestly, I kind of was super happy that I gave in and just decided to try it. It's got that such freshness, and it's such a mass appealing scent. Like no one would complain and say it smells bad. So if you want a mass appealing scent or something that's going to be potentially something that people would like smelling regardless of age or gender, this is definitely a great fragrance to go with. So first was Valentino Born in Roma Intense. And number two, we're gonna get into, again, I said it's a mix, so designer mixed with niche, mixed with kind of like clones. I'm gonna go with a clone that I really love. And this one, I've posted a video on TikTok a while back saying it was one of the clones that got me to get rid of the original. So one of my favorite fragrances of all time was Parfums de Marie Leighton. And this is the Woods Collection Dusk. This is a clone of Parfums de Marie Leighton. The Woods Collection, if you don't know, it kind of is a clone house, but they do tend to make things very good quality perfumes, and the oils in them are super great. So what you'll get with this, you're gonna get the Leighton vibe, but with Leighton I was against it with one reason. I didn't like the harsh kind of citrusy, like heavy citrusy peppery opening. The difference with this one now, it is just cardamom. So they have replaced that and put the cardamom. And if you are a fan of cardamom, you would know that once you put cardamom in a fragrance, it kind of mellows everything up. So this is just like a Leighton, but it's softer, it's mellow, it's just more upscale now. Leighton is a great fragrance. By the way, if you have Leighton, it's such a beautiful fragrance. I just didn't like the opening of it that much. Like I love the dry down. So I used to wear it like an hour before I head out just to make sure I got rid of that harshness so I'm not smelling it all the time. But this kind of got rid of it. And that's why as soon as I tried Dusk, I got rid of Leighton. And funnily enough, I actually recommended Dusk to a few people and they went ahead and bought Dusk and they absolutely love it. So if you're on Leighton on a budget, I think like it's not super cheap clone. Like in Australia, this one was about $120. So probably in the US, I reckon it will set you back like $50, $60, maybe $70. but it's definitely, the quality is there. So if you're paying for like a designer fragrance, which that's what you'll pay, this is a niche quality fragrance for the price of a designer. It's pretty much late on a better scale. So that was one of my favorite finds of 2023. Moving on to the next one. There's so many good ones in here. Actually, look, I want to run through them, but I feel like I don't want to take too much time as well, because I don't want it to be a boring video. So I will stop blabbering, and next we're going to go to another clone. Well, it's not a clone actually. This is Latafa Honor and Glory. I don't know if this is a clone. Sorry, it's Latafa Arabian Oud Honor and Glory. I don't know if it's a clone of anything. I haven't smelled anything like it before, but I absolutely love it. This one is pineapple and creme brulee. That's pretty much it. It is as simple as that. Pineapple and creme brulee. So this, okay. If you have a coconut lime candle and you love it so much, you have probably, this smells like it. Like, I get it, it's supposed to be creme brulee and pineapple, but the pineapple gives that coconutty lime, and the creme brulee is the creaminess. So it is pineapple, you can smell the pineapple, but it's giving me the vibe of a coconut and lime fragrance. So if you love a coconut and lime candles and you really want to spray that and kind of have it a bit more juicy, a bit more sweet, a bit more kind of lactonic, definitely go for Arabian Oud by Latafa Honor and Glory. So yeah, this was a great find of 2023. Now the next one kind of flies in the same kind of vein as one of my favorite fragrances of all time, and this is a niche one. I've only heard one other YouTuber talk about it, but it is such a fantastic fragrance, and you will see the dent that I have put on it. It's just more bottle, but I still put a massive dent compared to like the range of fragrances that I have. I usually shouldn't reach out for a fragrance multiple times the way I've done with this one. So this one is by Bob, and it's called Anetta. Cardamom dates, and beautiful kind of creamy, powdery to it. It's this, honestly, my first introduction to Bob was Bob Egypt, and I only got it for the name because I'm Egyptian. So I was like, yeah, let's kind of keep it that way and buy something to support the country. But when I first heard about Anetta and I read the notes, I was kind of like, okay, another cardamom fragrance. I do love my cardamoms. Wasn't too sure. The price is pretty high on this one. It is a very expensive fragrance. Well, for the mil, it's 50 mil and it runs for about $420 Australian. So it is quite a hefty price. And you probably can see the dent that I've put on it here. It's like, I have been spraying it quite a bit. So yeah, but blabbering on. This is just cardamom, a bit spicier than Ziro Starlight, a bit darker, but it is as opulent, it is as nice. I feel like this one will be a statement. Ziro Starlight is a comfortable, kind of mellow cardamom, while this one is a statement. You're saying, I'm here and I want you to smell me. So yeah, this was probably one of my all-time favorite cardamoms that I've come up with, or have come around to. But yeah, Bob Anetta, definitely a highly recommend this one. Moving on, just in the sake of time, we've got Maxamato Oud Smoke. This one I actually found out about it in one of the fragrance groups that I'm in. Hear me out. This is fresh, but not in the way you think it is. It is not fresh as citrusy. It's fresh, feels like clean, floral. So it's floral. There is a little bit of leather and oud in there. So when you first smell it, you don't pick it up. You're kind of confused. Like, what are you smelling? So it's super floral. I think there might be a bit of citrus in there. Might be a mandarin or something like that. But it's like floral, and you have that oud base with the woodiness. It kind of gives you that luxury kind of feel. And honestly, it is probably a fragrance for summer. Like, it will be strong. First time I wore this, I thought the performance is not great. But I tried it a couple other times and I let it sit for a bit. And last time I tried it, I was smelling it for quite a while. So it is a hefty beast performer. You would see probably the dent again. I did spray it a few times, but this is such a great fragrance. If you want something light, but still has... Actually, if you like Amouage Reflection Man, this will be right up your alley. I know, they don't smell anything alike, but if you like Reflection Man, I feel like I want to guarantee that you would like this. So if you have tried both, let me know what you think. But yeah, this was number 5 is Maximata Oud Smoke for my favorite finds of 2023. Now, let's change it up a bit. Before we get to the meat of the list, I said it's not a ranked list, but it is kind of ranked in a slight way. I'm kind of mentioning my favorites at the end. This is in the same vein as the previous one. This is a summer worthy fragrance that I think people would not take it for a summer fragrance to start. And this one is by Ahmed al-Maghribi and it is called Cedra Oud. I know its name, it's kind of foreshadowing, it's telling it all. But the first time you smell this fragrance, all you get is like a leathery oud and a bit of smoke. And you're like, oh, how is this a summer fragrance? And that's where the magic happens. When you spray this fragrance, the first thing you get, or the first thing that meets you, is the fruitiness of it. It is super fruity. It is a super fruity wood. It's kind of the oud and the woodiness and the smoke in it doesn't actually make it overpowering. It just adds kind of like an aura around the fragrance. So if you want something for summer that's very different, very, very different, you're probably not going to come across other people smelling like this. This is it. I would say, like, if you like Gissa Imperial Valley and it doesn't bother you, if it's you think you can wear in summer, then definitely try this out. It is definitely a Middle Eastern style fragrance. You will smell the Middle Eastern kind of take on it. That leather oud is in there. I don't know if actually leather is a note in a fragrance, but you do smell it. I think maybe a couple other notes make up that leather accord. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous fragrance. You'll probably also see the dent that I've put on it. All these ones, I have put quite a bit in them because I just love them and it's starting to get hot, thankfully. So I can wear these a bit more. So yeah, number 6, that is Ahmed al-Maghribi Cedra Oud. And now I'm going to mention one more clone and then I'm going to get into the super expensive fragrances. So I apologize in advance. But this clone should make up for it. And I'm just wiping it to make sure it's clean, but it is not. So give me a sec. I will do a quick wipe on that frame. And this is Ziro Crafted Oud. As you can probably tell from the bottle, if you have seen Thameen carved oud, they didn't really make it not obvious with crafted wood, or crafted oud actually. So carved wood and crafted oud. This is a clone of carved oud by Thameen, which is inspired by Tom Ford oud wood. So I liked oud wood when I first tried it. It is such a great fragrance, but I really wasn't keen on how linear it is. And I also didn't like the performance. The performance on oud wood was abysmal. On my skin, didn't last long at all. I think it was a couple of hours and it was gone. Then I heard about carved wood. And when I got carved wood, I was stunned. It was everything that oud wood wasn't. It was everything that I wanted out of oud wood. I wanted it to be performer, and it was. I wanted it to smell more complex than oud wood, and carved wood was. Then I heard that there is a clone of it by Maison Alhambra, which is a house by Latafa, Maison Alhambra. And this one, when I first tried it and got my hands on it, for the price, it was quite decent. This is a 100ml bottle. Carved wood was only 50ml. It smelled 99.5% similar to carved wood. And yes, maybe my nose is not as complex. I can't pick the distinctions, but to my nose, it smells alike. And I dare say, to 99% of people out there, smell it in the air, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. In fact, they wouldn't even know what it's supposed to smell like because not many people have smelled oud wood or carved wood. So if you want something that's Tom Ford oud wood, but better and cheaper and more elevated, go for Ziro. Ziro crafted wood. Not because it's a clone, but because it was one of my favorite finds of 2023. For the price and for the quality of what it is, absolutely amazing. Like, there is nothing I can wrong it. So, yep, number 7, and it is getting high in the list. So, definitely try it out if you can. Moving on, I'm gonna mention one fragrance that's probably another Middle Eastern fragrance that's probably in a very expensive end of Middle Eastern fragrances, and this is Spirit of Dubai Bahar. If you have not smelled any of Spirit of Dubai before, go out there, put your shoes on, run out, get a sample. This stuff is complex. This stuff is magnificent. This stuff is great. Bahar is the ultimate summertime fragrance. It is aquatic, it is fresh, it is citrusy, and it is a bit animalic. So an animalic in here, it's not the animalic that's disgusting animalic or it makes you smell like you're a wet dog. It doesn't, no. Bahar, it is just, to me, it smells like what the name implies. So Bahar, my understanding is Bahar, which is ocean or sea, and you'll probably see the waves, or it could also mean Bahar, which is amazement. I don't know which one it is actually. So is it amazement or sea? It's maybe one or the other. We'll see how we go. So yeah, this is just what the name implies. Whether it's sea or whether it's amazement, it is a very fresh, very, very, very potent scent. This is a freshie that will last in your skin for the whole day. It will not go away. It will latch onto your skin. And the beauty of these Middle Eastern fragrances is in the heat, that's when they actually work. That's when they flourish. That's what they're designed for. Hence the high oil kind of concentration in Middle Eastern fragrances, because it is meant for heat. On mentioning this as well, if you want to get your hand on this, and if you are anywhere in the Middle East, but you don't want to pay the price tag, go for Nabil Ocean. It smells 99% similar. It is actually by the same parent company. It's just the bottle is not as fancy as this one. I'll do a comparison later on. I've got both, so we'll do a comparison and we can talk about it more. But at number 8, we have Spirit of Dubai Bahar, my probably favorite freshie of 2023. And now we get to the top 2. Again, I know I said it's not a ranked list, but it is what it is. It is a ranked list at the end of the day. So I'm going to start with this one because this one is more sentimental to me. It is my house that I mentioned a lot, and I said I will be mentioning a lot in future videos. And this house is Arabian Oud, and the fragrance is Amiri. You probably think that this is a clone because it does look a bit like Dunhill Icon bottles, but let me tell you, Dunhill Icon's got nothing on it. This is a hefty bottle, and you've got a very, very classy magnetic cap. I like the look of the magnetic cap. I like the way it works. You have to actually flip it to do it. And Amiri, or a prince-like, or prince, is a freshie. So you have mint, you have citruses, and you have vanilla. And you think to yourself, this is going to be a basic fragrance. It can smell a bit like designer, but it is more complex because with designer, you're not really capable of picking the fragrances on their own. You're not capable of picking the notes on their own because of the mix. But this is such a high quality mix, and please look at how much I used. I nearly used half of this. It is such a beautiful fragrance. This was my first Arabian Oud fragrance, and that's why it is my favorite find of 2023. I have only got introduced to Arabian Oud a few months ago, and since then I have been absolutely addicted to Middle Eastern fragrances, and it's all come down to this fragrance. It's all come down to this. How great it smelled. It was something that I have never expected out of a Middle Eastern fragrance. In my head, I thought Middle Eastern fragrances are overpowering, strong, and for a good reason. I grew up in Egypt and I smelt the traditional Middle Eastern fragrances, and they were just wood, oud, and like kind of spices. So it was very strong scents. But with this, the freshness, the sweetness, it was absolutely mesmerizing for me. It made me fall in love with Middle Eastern fragrances. So that's why was going to be my number one. But for now, it'll have to do with my number two. And because number one is going to be one that is not only that I was happy that I found it, but also everyone that I have introduced to it have thanked me and gone ahead and asked me to get them a bottle. And the reason they asked me to get them a bottle because it's very hard to get in Australia, but this one is by a brand called Cedra, which I'm not sure if you have heard about it before. This is Cedra Dakova. And let me tell you in simple terms, Cedra Dakova is fruity heaven. It is fruity, it is fresh, it is airy, it is strong, it lasts for ages on your skin, it lasts for ages, everyone loves it. And I can't just give it any more praises than I'm doing now. It is such a great fragrance. Honestly, if you can find it anywhere around you, give it a try. If you like fruity fragrances, 100% recommend trying this. It is a beautiful fruity fragrance. It's probably my number one fruity fragrance, which I'll be doing a list about. So, and guess what? It's probably going to be my number one. So, spoiler alert. Yep. Cedra Dakova, best fruity fragrance I've ever tried. Puts Herba Pura to shame. I do have Herba Pura, but this puts it to shame. So if you want to try a fruity fragrance that's airy, not cloying, definitely try Cedra Dakova. And that concludes our list. So these are my top 10 best finds of 2023. Fragrances that I'll probably continue loving and continue exploring a bit more. If you like the content that I'm creating, please subscribe, support me, and like the video, and leave me a comment. If you have tried any of those, please let me know. Or if you haven't, let me know. What are your top 10 finds or your favorite find of 2023? Would love to hear recommendations. I'm always looking out for new fragrances to try and kind of expand my journey further and further. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you.